Alright, see if this works. Hopefully it should. Hello all and welcome. You were all pretty quick. Didn't expect you to fill up quite so quickly, but here you are. Thank you for your attendance. Let's see if we can get this actually working. It was kind of wonky yesterday, so hopefully it'll be a little bit better today. We'll see though. But yeah, I guess we're about ready to get started. Hello, hello. So yeah, seems to be working. At least I hope so. If not, I'll be a little bit sad. We're about to start Canada, but before that, there's a couple of things that I really investigated but figured out yesterday, which is quite interesting. So let's start with the pit crew. I tested out a few things and found out, among other things, that there's actually a pretty high money value attached to getting the fastest pit crew award. Hello, Ninki. Hello, Mitko. So it's actually very, very valuable. So if we go to our sporting director here, Randeep Singh, the way the pit crew works is actually pretty straightforward, but at the same time, it's a lot simpler system from last year, and it actually has some money attached to it as well, because if you do get the fastest pit crew award, you get an extra 12 million. And since money is kind of lacking, that's actually really good. So we are going to be focusing on that. I'm doing good, Nienke. How are you doing? So I'm just going to go quickly through the pit crew here now, how we can set it up to basically win that award. We want that extra bit of money. G'day, Willie. I think the game's going to be on a huge discount sometime like 2022. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to go on at least a minor discount when they release team swaps. It might not go on a big discount until Christmas though, depending on how the sales are. But there will for sure be some discounts sometimes. It's just not going to happen it's going to be a discount. It's just a question of when. If the sales are bad, it's going to be early. If the sales are good, it's going to be a little bit later. But with Vic Resi, as I said, basically they've condensed everything into this man. This man is your pit crew. That is the best way I can describe it. So the new pit system is actually really, really simple to work with. So currently you go to your sporting director, you click pit crew here, and if you go into development here, you can actually set up your schedule. Now the way the pit crew works is that they only have three different areas to work with. Chance of a mistake. Basically this is every single mistake bundled into one. Estimated pit stop time. This is the one we want to focus on. And car building, which is basically how quickly can it change components between, well, during P1 to P2, well, P1, P2, P3, so you can get your setups right. Audio is sometimes missing for a few seconds. It seems the bitrate is having a couple of issues again. I don't know what is taking up everything. It could also just be that I have my microphone slightly too close and OBS is saying, no, you are going over your volume limit. Because I was speaking a little bit lower than usual yesterday, so that might be why. Hopefully this is a bit better. Currently nothing is really using my network, so I don't know. If we start dropping frames, I see we dropped a few, I'll tune down the bitrate. But again, just let me know if there's any issues. But as I said, we're gonna first just set up the pit crew here for getting the estimated pit stop time down, so we can win that fastest pit stop award by the end of the season. It's an extra 12 million, and since we are kind of struggling for money here, let's be honest, that is going to come in handy. So the way that you get the estimated pit stop time down is actually super easy. It's not pit stop drills, that's just chance of mistakes. It's gym training. It's just straight up this thing that gets your pit stop times done. Not pit stop drills, that is just errors, and not car building, that is, well, car building. So if you want to get your pit stop times as low as possible, you just need your pit stop crew to, well, become all of them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and set it up so that of course, the pit stop crew won't be dead tired. We need them to function during the race itself. But we'll bring them up to just about tied, which should be right about there. You see, when we hit the wary, they get an extra 20% chance of making a mistake. We do not like that. We want to try and keep them down to tired. So this is the setup that we're going to be working with. And as I said, as long as they are not super tired for the races themselves, we'll be okay with trying to just focus on getting that estimated pit stop time down. And by the end of this month, it'll be down by about a tenth, so that should speed things up quite a bit. People say it's basically the same game as 22, just with some visual changes. I can see how people would feel that, but they've actually changed a lot of how the AI acts. The AI kind of gives you way more of a battle now. So I can understand that the mentality is that, oh, it's just a reskin. But they've actually made quite a lot of changes there. The AI will actually race you now. They will go on different strategies. They will adapt to safety cars. They won't get caught out by rain anymore in quali. So they've done a lot of quality of life upgrades in terms of making the AI more competitive. And to be fair, I haven't played lots, so I shouldn't make up an opinion so far. But I think it's a bit cheap to just say that, oh, it's a UI refresh, visual changes, because they have actually made some systems more quality of life. Among them, it's become more difficult now because you can't just put points into the quickest stats anymore. You can't just put points into the best stats for your staff either. That slows down progression a bit. The AI is a lot quicker. They rebalance stuff, so yes, things are a little bit different there. Fastest pit stop award were 12 million. It is indeed. I did power through a season because my leg was bugging me and I couldn't sleep. So I powered through a season as a test season to see if I could figure out how some of the things systems did work. So that's how I figured out how the pit crew works. And honestly, the best thing that I would advise is just to don't focus on anything but getting the pit stop crew time down to as low as it can go. Because it will go down to as low as you can reach. In my case, it was 1.9 with the team I was testing things with. 1.9 seconds per pit stop, and that was average. So they'd be sometimes a little bit slower, sometimes a little bit quicker. But once you hit that cap, and that cap is decided by your sporting director, that will not change until the end of the season. So the quicker you hit this cap, the better. But at the same time, we also do need to be a little bit careful here, because particularly on weekends like this, it's really easy to wear out your pit crew, and that's going to be bad. But the goal is very simple and straightforward. We are going to be focusing on just the pit stop time. It's going to increase our chance of a mistake, but lowering the pit stop time for the award itself is actually worth it. So if you go up here, Nick, you have total and you have cumulative. This actually confused me a lot yesterday too. So total, they'll show you your stats at the beginning and at the end of the month. So if we have a look here, if we go cumulative, you go into calendar, it shows you, well, this is our current one, current fatigue. This is what our fatigue will be tomorrow. This is what our fatigue will be on Saturday, Sunday. And you can basically check the fatigue like this. So the Sunday one is, of course, the most important one because that's when we have the race. So we want that to be at least below weary here, because this gap right here, above 50%, is an extra 20% chance of making a mistake. So we basically triple our mistake chance if we hit that. So you want to avoid that for race weekends. But other than that, you are free to set up your calendar as you see fit. I don't think any, like them being weary, at least, has any effect on training speed. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that either. And that does make things a bit interesting. I will be watching the quali today. Midco, that is the plan, which is why I'll only be streaming for a couple of hours. I'll be having some friends over. And for Canada, weather forecast, I assume you mean for in-game race at Canada, rather than at Spa. I don't know what we actually have here. And we'll have to see once we get there. Forecast available in 4 days, so we don't know yet. There's a 41% chance of rain currently. I've also been actually happy with how they changed the weather while we're on that topic. That's also a huge quality of life change, because I've been running with the lowest weather center on my tests just to see how they changed it. And even at the lowest level, it is still fairly accurate, to the point where I never got caught out other than just making silly mistakes. But it was understandable. It was way more understandable. It is a better system than it was for last year's game. And I can see my mic topping out, so I should probably move it a little bit further away, speak a little bit more silent. And we are still dropping some frames, so I'm just going to go ahead here and tune down the output a little bit, which unfortunately is probably going to hurt your quality, potentially, but we'll just have to live with that. So yeah, the game is a bit interesting too. Also, I have figured out probably what is the best way to develop your car. So we'll be getting into that a little bit later too. 4 cars will finish the race. Which race? Canada or Spa? Top 10 in Canada? I think it's doable. We've had a bunch of good performances. Our car currently is pretty good, as you can see. 6th, 11th, 5th, 4th, 11th, 6th. So we do actually have a pretty decent car at this point, so I wouldn't be too worrisome. We did have some confusion research, so the way the research works is that they just don't show the numbers properly, but it does match what you find here. Once the research is complete, it still takes to the tick of the month before it updates, so even if you do a research project, it's just going to take a little bit of a while before it shows up in this tab. When can you start developing the car for next season? We can actually develop the car immediately after we get the first regulation change, which is usually sometime after the 3rd, 4th, 5th race. Don't remember precisely. But once there, we can start doing research. And we are currently doing a little bit of research. It might not be the best thing that we can do, though, so I'm going to have a little bit look at this tab later on, once we get some of our engineers back. Because I figured out what is probably the easiest way to develop your car. It will give you a pretty competitive car pretty quickly. Not as quickly as last year's game, but still quickly enough. And I do think that we do need to catch up on some of these parts as well, so we'll go ahead and manufacture some of them. Okay, let's see what we actually have. We are manufacturing underfloors, we're manufacturing suspensions. Okay. We don't have an extra chassis, so we'll go ahead and get that manufactured. We are going to need at least a couple of extra parts here, so we're going to deal with that. Canada's low medium speed corners, so it will be hard. Honestly, I think we'll be fine. Our car isn't bad at the low speed corners, as you see here. 6th best on the grid, which translates to 4th, technically. Well, no, not even that. Yeah, 4th best team. 3rd best team? 4th best team, somewhere around there. Medium speed is the most important one of the two. But again, we should be okay. Stats aren't bad, and we have Norris, who's a pretty decent driver too, so I am not too concerned. Yeah, it will show research like last year. You'll have the green numbers on the left, the red numbers on the right, but it seems to be very delayed in terms of updates compared to last year's game. Let's do that. See if that fixes it. Hopefully that should fix the issue with drop frames. But yeah, as I said, we'll get a little bit closer to Canada, then we'll have a little bit more look on how you can easily, you know, actually upgrade your car. So, engineer drive attention. Okay, so apparently the race engineer and Piastri are currently not being the best of buds. And we can actually give Piastri some aggression in exchange for lost morale and affinity. But I think we'll try and intervene. We could acknowledge that they don't like each other, or we could intervene and try and make them make up with each other, basically. What do we want to do? Do we want to intervene? Do we want to acknowledge? Because I'm interested in that plus aggression stat there for Piastri. Because we're going to here and have a look. He does have aggression. All of them still do. Drive with high aggression will drive closer to competitors and tend to overtake more often. But it also increases the likelihood of being in a racing incident. So I don't think we want to actually increase his aggressiveness. Like, it's nice to have sometimes, but we need a car that is reliable before we do that. So we'll try and intervene. and see if we potentially make him super aggressive. Will there be a video on the best development strat? I'm planning to make kind of the same thing I did last year, where I made the Williams speedrun. But I'm probably going to make that video with AlphaTauri as the first video, where I'll be going over probably everything that is new in terms of mechanics, tires, well, virtually everything, and work from there. But we'll have to see. I think I am planning on making some video where I will be going through the development strats. Currently, I figure out one that works okay. It won't give you the best car within a year, but within 2 years, you'll probably be top of the grid. To be fair, though, if you have a look here, the advantage that Red Bull holds is quite significant compared to last year's game. So, right now, the only thing we're actually beating Red Bull in three things if you consider brake cooling. But they have huge advantages in cornering, huge advantages in acceleration here, as well as top speed. So it's going to be difficult to get them within a season, but within a couple of seasons, that's definitely doable. So I will be making a development video sooner rather than later. But yeah, let us get some research complete. Suspension, there we are. And with that, we should now have an engineer ready. So to just give you the gist of it, the easiest way to develop your car early on is actually really, really simple. Of course, the first thing you want to do still in this game is probably invest all your CFD and mile hours into an underfloor to start with. Honestly, you probably want to make 2 or 3 iterations of the underfloor with CFD and mile hours. But what you also want to do immediately is make every single part, and you just want to do this, the minimum lifespan, bring that down, because it gives a huge amount of stats in everything, as you can see here. And we haven't actually made this part with minimum lifespan yet, as you can see. But if we made this one, it would actually give us +2 boost in low speed, +1 boost in medium, top speed. So it would actually give us, it's a small boost, but it helps. And if you do this for every part, it's going to be really, really good. And again, you're going to have a lot of crashes. The lifespan, shorter lifespan on the parts themselves, you might think that it is a concern. But if you keep on making, the idea here is very simple. We make few parts high quality. We want to put CFD hours into every part we make. We make, 4 of them, so we have enough for crashes and accidents. Because it's very expensive now to make parts. And it's very expensive to design parts. So if we were to say make 3 normal versions of this one, and then we were going to manufacture them as well, we'd end up spending a ton of money, because manufacturing a sorry, that is the wrong tab. That is also the wrong tab. There we go. Manufacturing a suspension here costs us about, what is it, 300k each? So let's say that we do a suspension project for 1.2 million. We make 4 suspensions, so we have some to spare. That means we already spent 2.5 million on the project. So I think that the way that I would like to develop is quality over quantity. We'd focus on bringing, every project we does will be intense design. And that is probably the best way of going forward. You want to do intense designs for underfloor, rear wing, front wings. You also want to do intense designs for the other ones. But the first thing you want to do is just make one of each. Bring the minimum lifespan down. You won't really have any problems with replacing parts. Your drivers will crash often enough that they will be spending them anyways, no matter if they are slowing you down or giving you a speed boost. So that's my philosophy. I'll go a little bit more in depth on it once I make an actual video on it, but that is the idea. We want to make minimum lifespan parts, and we want to be investing heavily into them by, well, doing them with intense design, so that we get the maximum stat boost on the next iteration, and in turn, we spend less money overall. Well, we basically end up spending the same amount of money, but we do it in huge bursts instead of smaller runs. Hello, Bakang. You didn't miss too much. I just did a quick explanation of what I've learned in terms of both the, what's it called? Could actually boost the brake cooling here quite a bit too. So we'll sacrifice actually some performance here. It's a bit early already, but we'll get the brake cooling a little bit further up, just to make our car a little bit better. But what you did miss was basically me just explaining the pit crew, that there is a 12 million reward to whoever has the best pit crew by the end of the season. And how that works. So far, Tom, I'm enjoying this game. They've added a lot more complexity to it, a lot more difficulty, but I think once we understand it, it won't be as complex or difficult as it looks. There is an aggression level in this game, indeed, same as the last game. But for now, we'll actually make a brake cooling focused suspension here. And we're actually just going to do, as I said, do it intense. We're going to be making every part we do intense. It's just the... I think it's the best way forward in terms of not wasting too much money on parts. Chauvin is last by 20 seconds every race. I think it does that in this save too, because the alphas are pretty slow. And he doesn't have the best stats. So the alphas in my save right now, they're good at acceleration, but they're really bad at everything else. Like, pretty bad at everything else there. So with his stats also being low, you can understand why he's a bit slower. But yeah, also, before we continue, there is an aggression level. It's down here on the drivers. And apparently you can have random events that will increase it. So looking forward to seeing how that will work. We don't really have any more money to spend. I kind of regret spending money on the design center and even the factory right now. If I could, I probably would have moved them into the team hub and the race sim instead. And probably some more parts, but that's a story for a different time. Front-wing research complete, manufacturing completed. Let's just check where we are at in terms of having some parts storage, because that is actually something we were struggling with last time around. So we'll be making at least one more front wing. They're quick to make, and we'd like to have at least a little bit saved up, probably 2 of each. And this was just me being kind of Scrooge last time out. So yeah, we'll be checking that everything is in every car. And we'll also be upgrading things as we go now, which should make us a lot more competitive. And everything is installed in both cars, so I think we're ready to go to Canada. Better late than ever, my pre-order has arrived at the docks. That sounds good, hope you enjoy. Again, let me know if the stream is lagging, because I see drop frames still, which is bad, so if need be, I'll just restart it quick, see if that fixes it, because I still don't get what is causing this. Hulk Smash challenge is imminent? Yeah. We'll see if... I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes, honestly. It sounds like a fun one. It's kind of competitive too, currently, so that should make it a lot more fun. Okay, so finish position. I think we'll be able to put a driver in top 10. Again, I am a bit loopy here, so we do want to gamble a little bit. We'll just see where we're at with Norris, and then I'll make some more bold guesses for the next race, maybe. Whether to put more fuel in the car and push as long as possible. Honestly, I've been feeling that it's worth it to put less fuel in the car, really. That it works the other way around. I did see the patch notes. I didn't see anything super... super surprising there, so hence my lack of a reply. But I did read them, so at least they did patch something immediately, which is good news. Hoping for a double points finish. It'll be up to Piastri to decide if we get that, honestly. Okay, let's get the car set up, the car pass in particular. So we are going to be using this engine a lot more, basically because, well, it's 5 million for a new one. We are probably going to have to buy an extra ERS for both cars before the end of the season. But even if we end up losing points, we'll probably sacrifice that for, you know, not spending millions on buying new engines. But again, we might be forced to. We'll have to see if we can avoid crashing, having an accident. We might avoid it, but we might also be forced to. Let's see here for Canada. Four and a half. 12 to 8. 05 and 65, if I remember. Yeah, that is correct. You kind of forget things easily, though, so I do need to have the cheat notes, so to speak, next to me. Okay, let's just sim through practice here. What I've also realized after playing a full season is that they've kind of equalized the tires now. There's no tires that really have a huge advantage on any given track. So even if they kind of randomly use them, it's not a big concern. The thing is, if I wanted to do the if I wanted to do the setups manually, I'd probably have to do the what's it called? The practices, at least one of them, to get everything correct. So it's basically just a time server fed. I don't know which one you prefer. So it's a time saver. I understand some people might find it a bit cheesy, but I find it to be acceptable to just save me a little bit of time. Update on Spa. I haven't heard anything about them canceling it. They did release like a estimated guesstimations on if it's going to rain or not, so we'll see. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me if they kind of end up doing what they did last year, but we'll see what they actually end up with there. It's rain. It'll come or it won't come. There's no in between. And we'll just have to live with it, basically. Sergeant has destroyed 3 engines. I would already throw him out of the car by that point. Just have him retire every race, honestly. Honestly, the funny part is Sergeant is actually the only driver who lost his seat in the season that I did as a test. So, yeah. Even the AI didn't like him there, unfortunately. Piastri has better pace, so maybe points could be. AI is going to break the cost cap, like it's apparently in real life. Wouldn't surprise me. Strategy undercut? Yeah. All kicking off at Alpine. Is there something interesting happening at Alpine that I missed, or? I know that they're removing, what's his name? People don't like him, the team boss. Yeah. But other than that, have they fired off any more fireworks? Oh yeah, we're gonna have a fun Canada here. Heavy rain, moderate rain. That's gonna be a bit interesting. To be fair though, it's not really that surprising, because now that Piastri has proven himself, kind of, they're kind of seeing what they missed. So if I had any stock in Alpine, I'd be pissed, honestly. I did read about that, like the team principal. I don't remember his name, but honestly, it didn't surprise me. Dude is basically hated by everyone, and seems to think that he knows best on everything, so not a big surprise. To be fair, though, if you lost a talent like Piastri, I think... I wonder if even Marco would be safe, like Dr. Marco and Red Bull. He might also be feeling the fires a little bit. Okay, so we're going to have a wet quali here. That's going to make things a bit interesting. I think we're going to use the fresh engine, which is risky because it's wet, but wet is also opportunities. And we're actually going to use this gearbox. It should still be working. Well, still be alive. And this engine is actually still running 100%, I think about it, because it's not 65% or lower, but we'll still use the best one. I think it is worth the risk. Yeah, Otmar. That's the man. I love the game. It is a substantial improvement, yeah, I agree. Should do no pits. We'll have to see, though. I know that Canada is one of the tracks where you can do a no pit stop race, but it'll depend on if things change. Both of them are leaving after Spa? Okay. I saw something about Meki is also moving immediately to AlphaTauri after Spa. So apparently everything is kicking off right now. Okay, let's have a quick look at what we can expect in terms of the water level. So get a run in here early and get a run in towards the end. And that should be good for us.
Track should be green now.
And radio check.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, that's loud and clear. Drive to the Delta. And we'll box this lap, cool the car.
Okay, well, we are a second behind the Red Bulls currently. We're very close also to these cars, which is not good. I think we'll just send them out on the same tires. It shouldn't have too much of an effect on tire wear here. 2 faster laps in the end of Q1. We can try that. Hilarious to see in here that Max is still favorite with his grid penalty. Yeah, to be fair though, it's Spa, and unless Paris decides to pull out a masterclass out of his hat, I don't see anyone really threatening him. So, with that in mind, I wouldn't be too surprised to. Let's see if we can find ourselves a good window to actually send our car out into, and I think this is the best we're gonna get, honestly. And even then, it won't be great. Because everyone ahead of us is about to start a flyer. There are also flyers currently inside of us, the Breeze, Ocon. So we'll see if we can actually get by them without, you know,
We are currently
getting into
P8.
problems. It's looking promising, though. And I think we're true. We are. Good. Yeah, it's not a big surprise that Verstappen is a favorite. As long as he gets within DRS, he's going to be able to take out everyone. You've really used all of your tires, eh? Just sent them back. See if it's going to start raining in this quali. It is, so we'll have about 1 run going out. We'll want to get out first here, honestly.
Okay, Oscar. So the track will
It's either
be
first or
green.
last before we... because everyone is going to come out now. They actually fixed the AI on wets. So if it's a wet quali, everyone's just going to fly out of the pits. And the worst thing we can do is click the button and end up behind an Alpine or something like that. Although Norris is currently in danger. Norris is probably out, so he lost out big time here. Okay. I might have discovered a glitch. I can't speed up the game, so... This is a bit confusing. Well, this isn't really the quality being broken, this is the game kind of being broken. I have a screen atop another screen that won't go away. Escape doesn't work. I can click these buttons, but they don't do anything. Yeah, I think the game bugged out. This is probably the first bug that I've like really run into, honestly. Oh, I can do things. Let's see if we can speed up time here, because if so, we might be able to get through this quali, even though Lando... I think Lando just had a bad run. They happen every now and again. They just run it slightly wide, something like that, and you only have 1 chance. It's not good for you anyways. Currently, though, as you can see from the screen, I think I'm going to have to restart the game, unfortunately, because I can't do anything. I have a menu here that is kind of blocking me. Yeah, I really, for this one, I really do need to get Lando suggest it's broken. Voice line, I really should just set up a button for that. But yeah, we're gonna just do this. Restart the game. That was very interesting. Very interesting bug. Kind of annoying for a bug as well. Be restarting the game. I should be back in just a second. There we are. Anyone know what I clicked when that happened? Because that was weird. Did I just click the timing sheet at the wrong time or something like that? Okay, so it kicked us back into Q2. I like all the new sound effects, but I think to say, don't worry about it. The sound is actually good. They did say also the devs themselves when they made their, you know, kind of dev diaries that, oh, we focus a lot on the details. So, shouldn't surprise me. We'll send Norris out first again. We'll see if he... Hopefully, we might need to just slow him down manually. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see if he has a better run. I don't think 12.8 is that good. Although it looks like the Astra's the one getting shafted this time around. We won't have time for another run before it starts raining. And with rain, we no chance we improve. So the glitch, the bug, however we want to frame it, did cause a bit of a mayhem there. That did cause pain. It just swapped out who's going out, unfortunately. And he isn't even that far over, just 500s. So it's not even that far off. Okay, Norris makes it to Q3, although it should have been Piastri. But that's just how the game rolls sometimes, unfortunately. It's probably better for us. I won't lie and say that, oh, what a tragedy. It is better for us to have Norris in Q3 rather than Piastri. But it's a bit...
Weather update. This rain has stopped.
That was a bit of a weird bug. I haven't run into that before. It is going to start raining again, though, so we do need a good run here from Norris. And it looks like we did not get that. We did beat both the Hasses. So, that's good at least. We're ahead of Edster. Yay! I say, and then Hulkenberg comes and just slaps me during the race itself. So, not our best quality. Probably should send Norris out on completely fresh softs, but qualities are no longer on rails. They do have random results, is what I've seen. Which is good. It makes the game a little bit more random and a little bit more fun. There we are. We'll be starting 8th. I will not be forgiven? Well, I have a Hulkenberg behind me, so he might just smash me, and apparently... I didn't know you would get me this quick, Ed. Immediately I get slapped with a 3-place grid penalty. What is that? Hey Dom, how you doing? What is that? What did Piastri do? Okay, so softs are actually going to be really quick for 20 laps, but again, short lap, 70 laps in total. And these mediums are going to be quicker than the hards for about 12 laps before they start losing out. It's not a lot of difference between these times, honestly, so we could try some cheeky strategies, but it's going to rain. You hit Piastri again? Double hit? Okay, so it's gonna rain, but when is it gonna start raining? That is the question. It's gonna be barely wet out on track here, so this should just be into stops. Starts around lap 30. Can we go out on a tie that lasts to lap 30 is the question here. We could go on the mediums, they'll do the job. But it might actually be better to go out on the hards then, to start with, because we can push those. We could go hard. Yeah, so honestly, going out on the hards might be the better option here, just because, well, they'll last until lap 30, easily. And they'll give us more to play with. So it's soft, mediums or hard, indeed, yes. It's already begun. Why is it the second you show up that my misfortune intensifies? like massively. I don't get this. We might just do a split strategy here. I think having them start on the medium should be okay. Norris has pretty high smoothness. I think it's in the 85s, 89s. So he should have no problem bringing the tires there. The concern though is Piastri. I think he has 69, so let's slap him onto a hard set. And then the interset once we get that. So I think this is going to be the idea. We start Norris on the mediums, we start Piastri on the hards, and that should work out for our goals here. And also, since it is going to be raining here, we are going to go ahead and underfuel the car by a little bit. But I still don't get why Piastri uses more fuel than Norris, because it is not that way in the other team that I tested. Come to bring the spare. They've added a bit more complexity to it, Dom. Some new systems. Tires now have a operative window where they are quicker. They'll degrade quicker outside of it. The pit crew has had a revamp, but generally they just made the AI a bit more competitive, which makes the game a bit more fun. So a lot of it could be, you know, summed up in quality of life upgrades, making the AI a little bit more difficult. But generally, it's going hard on both. We could try that, but I think this is okay. We should have plenty of tire left by the time we get to the rainy period. And again, Norris has high smoothness, which is why I'm putting him on the medium. I need to give him a tire he can actually fight with, particularly if you have soft runners around him. There will be a big gap. Yeah, it will be. Mainly because they're starting pretty far away from each other. Do drivers like Piastri actually improve faster? I believe so. Piastri is now 77, but we haven't done more than 8 races, so we'll have to see. I haven't tested out too much in terms of driver development. But I think we're going to do this. It's potentially not the best strategy. Could be a good idea to put both on hard.
Laps of the Canadian Grand Prix await our drivers.
But we'll split
the
it.
Drivers are ready and raring to go. It's the Canadian Grand Prix.
We'll see if this Stroll, which is one of these, can get a good home result here.
Lights out, and away we go.
Okay. Already doing a little bit of aggressiveness here, but we're immediately getting kind of fought back against. Everyone but us is on a soft tire, so yeah, Piastri's going to get eaten up, particularly within the first 10 laps, then he's going to be able to come a little bit back. But this is going to be a bit of an interesting one, I think. We had an okay start though, Norris to get moved forwards a little bit, which is always nice. Keeping it to neutral now, they've used a little bit. Now, Piastri doesn't have high enough confidence here that we can actually warrant putting him up on an aggressive strategy. He's likely to crash if we do. Norris is still very high confidence, that's why we're putting him on overtake the aggression here on high. He'll take more risks, but hopefully he won't actually make an error there. Oh no, you've jumped for our strategy. I probably have, yes. The question is, can we hold on to the cars in front here enough during these 30 laps that the pit stop they inevitably will, you know, slow them down a bit. We'll see. They do have quicker cars than us for the most part, so that is also part of it. Underfueling this year's game meta? Maybe. I'm just testing it out a little bit because I've been pushing tires, I've been pushing fuel, I've been pushing energy. Every race I've done. But this happens every race start. Like, they will eke out a gap on me immediately. And once we start getting close to lap 10, 15, 20, that gap will start to close again. And we will, well, retake the position. Doesn't matter what time we're on. If it's soft versus soft, they'll still be eking out that gap. If it's me on soft versus them hard, they'll still be able to eke out that gap. So I don't think there's any reason to push fuel. It just heats the tires unnecessarily, is what I'm feeling. So I don't know. I might be wrong, but I'd like to just test this out and see if it has any benefits or not. Now, Piastri's going to have a, you know, as I said, a rough time back there. He's running in at the RS train up to Sergeant. So we'll have to see if he can get some moves done. Norris is fighting Hulkenberg here. Hulkenberg already going for the vengeance. But currently, I think we're still okay. We are falling back behind the other cars, and it is Canada with a incredibly short pit lane. So it might backfire horribly. But we shall see. So we have a virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car.
If we really wanted to gamble here, we could chuck Piastri in and put him on a pair of softs.
Yep.
Which could work.
Just take every precaution.
Okay, I didn't mention Sergeant. Someone mentioned Sergeant earlier had broken 3 engines. He just broke another car.
Yes, everyone is okay.
He is unfortunately Schumacher of this game. DRS overpower like FM Manager 22? No, actually DRS isn't as overpowered because of the tire heating. Usually, do it. I don't know if we'll have the safety car, well, virtual by the time we get here. It isn't as overpowered because of the tire heat. Usually, on most tracks, the DRS trains will get broken up pretty quickly. And with that, of course, it makes it a lot easier to overtake. So far, we haven't actually done that many laps here, but you can already see that gaps are starting to form. And sooner or later, these DRS trains are going to start breaking up due to tire heat being put into the tires from other cars from running behind. Do we want to gamble, as I said, on putting Piastri onto a soft tire here? He'll be running just 6/10 quicker. Just bought my 4th engine. That's expensive too. That is a full upgrade, just as an engine. It's actually going to start raining around lap 25 now, so a little bit earlier. We'd have to push those pretty hard if we want to make those softs actually worth it then. And it's just a 9-second time loss here under the virtual safety car. Let's gamble. Piastri should be able to easily make them last, so he's at the back anyways. It'll give him some free air to play with. So it's not all bad. The virtual safety car is ending, just the time we actually get out, so not too bad. We still did lose out a little bit more than anticipated. Stop time 2.1 seconds. Let's heat up these tires, see if we can actually catch up. I'm not sure I'm still playing 22. Don't worry about it, Dom. Honestly, don't worry about it. Let's see though if he actually can actually heat these up. As you can see, he's currently struggling with doing that. There we are. Put him down to aggressive so he doesn't completely burn him out. And just that one virtual safety car saved us a ton of fuel there. Norris still fighting with Hulkenberg, 3 seconds behind Russell. So we do have some fights here to deal with as well. Rain incoming around lap 25. But it'll still take a while before it becomes Intus. I feel like safety car comes out only when the car's stuck on track and gravel.
Expected.
You probably aren't wrong with that, honestly. We're going to go a little bit aggressive now since the rain is starting to get there. Although, let's be honest, it's still... Could probably go attack on the softs here. It's fresh air, but with Norris it's a bit more risk. Keep him on aggressive for now. I do think the safety cars are a bit more rare. But the cars getting completely destroyed right now is also happening a lot more. Major damage to components is now enough to sometimes just straight up DNF you. So... with that in mind, I think it might be better to not have a safety car on every track every time something happens, so. Okay. Piastri is catching up to the back of the pack again, but can we get any overtakes done before the rain arrives? Probably not. Rain is arriving now. But it's very little. It's barely any here, so that should cool down the tires though, so we can go a little bit aggressive here. Crash involving multiple cars. So Tsunoda and Albon has taken each other out. Another virtual safety car. I don't think it's worth it to jump onto the Intus just yet. As you can see, the rain is going up slowly. It's probably going to be around lap 27, 28 before we would have benefit from doing so. So we'll not be jumping on this virtual safety car. But we will be pushing the fuel the second it is done.
Virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car starting? Yes, I know. I'm in the virtual safety car train.
And virtual safety car is ending.
Yeah, confirm.
Okay, now it's going up a little bit more, well, a little bit quicker. So they started pitting. I think that is our cue to start pitting ourselves. And it is going to get, you know, kind of wet here. What I'm wondering is if this is going to be dry enough to go back onto a dry tire. Probably not. I think we're just going to stick with the inters. That is the wrong set. We'll put on these. And we'll do the same for Piastri. Unfortunately, the pitting, the extra pit stop here, did not pay off for him at all. He ended up losing a bit of time. But that is how it is when you do a gamble. Second fastest pit stop. I assume Piastri has the fastest one. We'll see though. And right now it's just heating up these tires, getting them to work. And we actually did lose out here during the pit stops because Norris is down to 11th now. Did he have a bad pit stop? That's not where I wanted to have a look here. Are there any places here I can have a look at lap times? Fastest pit stop. So Norris had a 2.2 second stop here. So he shouldn't have lost out to this much of the cars around him. So Max technically won't get pole. Who do you think is going to get pole today? Well, Max is going to get pole, but then he's going to get demoted. So, honestly, I don't know. Norris is probably a good bet. Interestingly enough. Could be Piastri pulls us something magical out of that. We of course have Perez. Kind of, again, Leclerc was a staple, but I don't think he will be able to pull it off today. Could have some Merc magic again, with Hamilton doing something he should be able to. There are a lot of potential candidates for nabbing that pole position. Okay, so these tires can last to the end, it's just how we want to manage them to get there.
Lando update on track conditions.
I mean,
Manifesting a Piastri pole. Okay, so it's drying out.
Getting towards the window.
We'll see what the others do because this is just at the level where I don't want to gamble. Piastri is doing good though. He has actually gained himself a spot. Overtaking in wet conditions though is more difficult, so we'll see what we do with Norris. As you can see, just running close to the car in front is costing us in terms of tire wear quite extensively. So we're going to have him run aggressive, give him the deploy as well. And see if we can get by at least one of them here to, you know, not completely burn off these inters. DRS component, they sound way out way quicker. Yeah, it does. In my game where I tested things, the ERS component was the only one I needed to rebuy because both of them were completely broken. So you're most likely going to have to buy one for every playthrough, and it's just how it's going to be. No real rhyme or reason to it. It's just, again, the component is just going to wear out. I really would like Norris to just speed past Hulkenberg here now. And if possible...
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Hulkenberg! That's the Eugene's where you at. I'm pretty sure Hulkenberg just gave us suspension and chassis damage. He cost us about $1 million, if not more. And potentially this race, because as you can see, the tires are gone.
Now, who
Bono.
is that? Now that looks like Lando Norris. Let's have a look at the action. It's all at the final corner. Cutting it so close.
That looked
And
very
there.
wonky though. Didn't look like contact. That's annoying. But we are gonna have to pit Norris on this. Just no other way around it. Tires are gone. They will no way we're making them to the end. And he's gonna come out in 13th. So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see if he can actually make up these places again. And potentially take out the other Haas if need be. So 2.2 second pit stop, not too bad. Do need to tune down Piastri before I forget. He is running again these tires quite hot. So we'll have to see if we need to actually run them in, you know, a save mode. Losing ERS looks like the, okay, yeah, battery strain because I drained it. That makes sense, honestly. So yeah, we'll have to see what we do here. It's a bit worrisome for Piastri. We're actually just gonna do the same we did with Norris, try and get by quickly, so we don't, you know, burn the tires by staying behind other cars. But we'll, again, Norris will have to see what we can actually do here with him. He's gonna have a bad time no matter how we do this. I strike once again. Gas history says I'm mad after I skipped practice. Why? Because they do pick them kind of randomly, I feel. But again, the tires have been kind of normalized, so sometimes you'll have a bad tire selection, sometimes you'll have a good one, but generally you'll be able to make a viable strategy, really. But they do kind of pick them randomly now, unfortunately, which makes making, you know, if you want to keep a particular tire, you can have to manually go in there and say, I want to keep this. Which is a bit unfortunate, but that's just how they decided to make this CS game. Still gonna stay wet to the end, okay. Norris still has opportunities here. We're not too far behind Gasly at 6 seconds. That is doable. Opinions on the ATA qualifying? I'm not following, Ollie. What do you mean by ATA qualifying? Need to get Norris by now before he burns his tires again. Please, Mr. Haasman, let me by. Thank you. He immediately re-overtake us? What a bastard. Well, we are gaining on Gasly while we're doing this somehow, so it's fine for now. Although we do definitely want to get by before we completely again start burning tires. So let's just go full attack. A little bit deploying. We have our safety car.
Can use overtake.
There's a yellow flag.
And it is Piastri who has caused that safety car.
Heading down the straight. Oh, and the car with a nasty crash into the barrier.
That is suspension gone for sure. What else? Suspension, chassis, front wing, and the gearbox. That makes me sad. Have to use. Okay, the attic. Okay, the attic qualifying concept, the one they did in Hungary. I do like it. It makes things a little bit more interesting. I don't think it has too much of an effect for the game itself, because the cars are kind of alike. But it did make the Hungary qualifying a lot more interesting. No, I have yet to break the game, unfortunately. But what I will do is send Norris in to get a slightly better interest. Because it should have enough of a gap down to... Can I do that? It should be fine. The problem here now is actually Verstappen is going to lap us.
Safety car deployed. Drive to the Delta.
Yep, all good.
We
We can't actually
tie it.
pit because if Verstappen doesn't pit, he's going to end up lapping us. And that's going to be bad for us. So, no pit stop for us, unfortunately. I'm not broken the game yet, Callum. Yeah. They're assassinating my cars, but Hulk does have a penalty, so I can live with that. We'll have to do the best with the chassis damage and suspension damage. So that means we're going to have to make at least 2 chassis and 2 suspensions before next race. That's going to be expensive. But he did break his gearbox completely, so
How's the track?
that's going to be a bit bad.
There's a dry line in some places. I don't think it's a mile away.
Well, it's going to become more wet, so I think it's a mile away. Lap cars we now overtake, which means we'll very soon have the safety car restart.
Safety car is in this lap.
And
And
we are
for
just
the
gonna
restart, it will just
send
be
it.
recharge off.
Confirm.
Hopefully the stream is smooth. OBS is telling me I'm dropping frames, but I'm hoping it's not too many. Okay, let's see if we can get a good restart going here. It's not too many laps left, so even if we do burn these tires a bit, that should be okay. So I'll try and get by Magnussen here, who is being, you know, a bit of a problem. Tires are severely overheating though, which is actually a bigger problem. And mainly one of the reasons why I don't feel like pushing fuel really has an effect, because it just heats the tires so much that I don't think you get any real benefit from it unless you go full send. So with that in mind, yeah, we might just need to do that, just go full send here, because we are losing time to the cars in front. And we do have a little bit of a tire advantage here, so we can actually go aggressive without losing out too much. And we'll see if we can actually catch up to and get by now Magnussen. And maybe Gasly as well, so we can get some points. That would be good. We'll get a point. I thought we were heading out of the track again, but it's just ERS that ran out. Verstappen has crashed. That should help with us getting points.
So
I feel like the AI don't manage the tires, but also unaffected by the overheating penalty. I think they burned through them, but it isn't really reflected properly in this menu, which is kind of weird to say, because I think they do overheat and they run slower for it, but I don't think they get as much damage as the player does. Okay, so we have Verstappen now right behind us. I assume he's gonna potentially take us down. We'll see. We are still struggling with Magnussen. Just can't get by. What we're going to do now is actually just cool the tires a tad. Just cool them down a little bit here, and then we'll go full on attack again. It should give us that little bit of an edge we need. Is this like the game is manifesting the Verstappen crash this weekend? That would be kind of scary if it manifested it. Okay, we didn't completely cool the tires, but I think that we need to try and make a move now. We are running out of laps to get it done on, so we will try our best right now here. Let's see if we can, as I said, get a move done. And Magnus is just a defending monster right now. I don't think we can afford to back off either, that's the problem. The only thing we can really do is try and top up a little bit for a lap or two, and then try and get him in the final lap, maybe. Because we also do have damage to our car, which is of course slowing us down as well. I do know your tires are overheating. I kind of, you know, set that up. Trying to emergency cool them now before the last lap. But I think I just were too undecided, and that's gonna make us kind of hard here for... Gonna make it kind of harder to overtake Magnussen for that last point. Or maybe?
Perez has crossed the line first.
Just a tad too slow, and that's going to cost us an extra money too. So yeah, this has not been a good race weekend at all. Not even close. In the sense that, well, Piastri damaged the car, but we also had damage to, well, both cars' suspension and both cars' chassis. I do think that we did win the LH bonus, though. So we did lose a little bit of money here because we failed in the finish position. Did make a little bit extra money from the performance guarantees and the performance targets, so can't be too upset. I did click a little bit too quick there, though, and we lost the DHL. Piastri ranked up. Your work is done. Come back here and fix my car. So... we only have one. The other one we're gonna have to install in car 1 for the time being. Front wing, we have extra of those. The rear wing, though, we can just replace. It has failed, and apparently his failed too. So yeah, we are gonna have some fixing going ahead of us here. The car 1, the powertrain here, so they completely destroyed the gearbox. At least it was an older gearbox, so it's not a complete loss. It's not a fresh one. The best way to train pit crew? I did figure out a little bit earlier, but we can go quickly through it again. That's no problem. Just let me, you know, respond to things here. Engineer driver tension. Okay, so it seems like we actually solved the problem here. The tension has been improved. Piastri regains morale. He and his race engineer get affinity, and he loses some aggression. Okay. He is medium on the aggression meter. Let's see if it actually ends up going down. But yeah, as you can see, we lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components to just destruction, 2 to failure, and of course 1 powertrain component as well. But yeah, the best way to train your pit crew, in my opinion, is if you go into your sporting director, which is technically your pit crew. You find the, you click here, go pit crew, find development tab, then you go here. And what I generally want to just to have them do is stay in the gym. And the reason for that is incredibly simple. The gym is the one training that lowers the estimated pit stop time. So that gets the base pit stop time down. If you want to focus on lowering the chance of mistake, you just put them onto the red training. You can also figure out which one of these is the highest chance to make an error. Right now it's tighten tires or use tires off. So we can actually pick a training that targets that in particular. But generally, I'd say the best way to train your pit crew is to train them into, you know, just stop times until they reach a cap. There is going to be a cap on this depending on your sporting director's aptitude. I think it's aptitude. And that's going to decide just how far you can go with this. After you reach the cap here, I'd say start focus on lowering your mistake chance. Keep in mind though that your pit crew will gain fatigue as you train. As you can see here, they'll be well rested before Austria, which is good. But if I were to have a race on this date, they'd be wary, which gives them an extra 20% chance of making a mistake. So keep that in mind. Kind of want to try and keep them well rested for the week. Well, not really well rested, but at least a maximum of tired for the race weekends. They'll still have a little bit more of a chance of making a mistake, but as you can see, it's just 0.27 versus what could have been a lot more. So that is how I would train my pit crew, and that is how I'm going to train my pit crew, basically. I am going to go into the warehouse here, and we are going to be manufacturing some new components. Yeah, this is going to be very expensive. That's it. I'm just going to check what am I going to make in the future so I don't overmake things. So, chassis. Yeah, I don't think we're going to make an extra chassis in the future, so we can just, you know, manufacture 3 of those immediately. So we have some lying around. Again, I need to learn these new menus. So we'll just do it normally. Save money that way, which is fine. We'll have 1 ready for Austria, which will be a replacement. And the other thing that was completely destroyed was suspensions. So we'll have to make 4 of these. There's already a suspension project in progress, so that is okay, I think. Let's just double check. Okay, so we are making 1 more suspension. So we probably do want to add 3 more to this order. Yeah, which is going to be very expensive, 1.5 million. But it is what we're going to have to do. We're going to need suspensions. Although, aren't we doing a suspension project right now? We are. So make 1 more after this, and then it'll just have to live with the ones that we have. Yeah, let's do that. It'll cost us an extra 300k, but that's fine. And we did destroy a couple of other pieces to front wing. Let's just get 1 of these made. And I'll balance out the other parts once that front wing is made. The Williams F2 is like 90, so it should be good. Yeah. I don't know what the F2 my guy has, but 86, as you can see here. Help mechanics reach their full potential. Higher upper limit to the pit crew's potential skill. Which is, what this basically means, though, is if you go into your pit crew again, check the development. As you can see here, the max level they can reach in these skills are 86, which is the aptitude level. So keep that in mind. They have awesome stats, but as far as I know, they don't actually lose pit stop time. This stat won't go down even if you don't train it for the rest of the year. So once it reaches the maximum, so that is okay. What is better, to let the AI control the outlapping quality or the player? Because I feel like when the AI does it, the tire seems cold and not optimal. Could probably be an advantage then to just take control yourself, honestly. Wouldn't surprise me if that is the better choice. I've just been lazy and let the AI do it. That might be something I will need to be experimenting on in future. Let us also get a side for manufactured. And then I think we should be up to date. Okay, so we're actually out of rear wings. Okay. This one should be easy to actually make too, so... But I don't think we'll have any free manufacturing slots before the race, and we will not. So I could, of course, make it, but it would require me to cancel a different one, and I'm just going to be a tad lazy here and just say that we're not going to do that. And let's just swap out this gearbox so I don't have that marker hovering over that. It's that little red button is annoying me. I think we're ready to just continue. There's one thing I want to check though before we go on, and that is just double check that we've used our ATR period, because if we forget to use that, we're going to be very, very sad. But we have, and we can head over to Austria. Hopefully have a bit of better result than we did have here. Pit crew is exhausted. I believe they have some rest coming up right now, so they should be good again for, you know, Austria. The period starts today. Contracts are ending. I think we'll wait and do these a little bit later because this is going to take time. And of course, we're going to have to see if we want to scout for a replacement, pick up someone else. Currently, we could pick up Tondi, if we really wanted to. Murphy, Duck the Bear. So we could upgrade our man here. Tony is not a bad choice. He's highly skilled and fairly young. And we could also get Cadil here. Cardil? Which would also be a pretty massive upgrade there. I've good at 15 points. But I don't know when his contracts runs out, so we'll just give him a standard scouting. Rather way to have good advices guide. We can actually test it a little bit in the next quality. I think mainly when the track temperatures are low. That is probably when you will be seeing. That is probably when you'll be seeing, them having problem. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. That is probably when you'll see them have trouble with tire warm up when the track is cold, or when generally just the temperature is lower. Wouldn't surprise me, honestly. And here we have Mekis. He's actually ranked. Actually, don't have a scouting slot available. I never thought I'd have that problem. Tunde contract up at the end of the season. You can get him for 3.3 million. That's basically a steal, though. Hey, David. I'm doing good. You're still on a building site? Learn anything new? Learn a little bit about how, the DHL reward for fast pit stops are going. You get 12 million at the end of the season if you do come in first, so been setting up the pit crew to make sure that we do get that. Okay, so Vashor has been scouted. 6 months left of his contract. Might pick him up, we'll see. But I do want to have a quick look at Mekis here, because Ferrari were really unhappy with letting him go. I think they said something like, oh, congrats, you've won like 7 races in 4 years or something like that. So they really didn't like him. Bono also up at the end of the season, can get him for a 2 million salary. Okay. At least we are getting some manufacturing done here, so we can actually kind of catch up, which is good. I don't know if Bono will actually want to come to our team at the end of the season, but potentially we'll see. Honestly, I don't think race engineers are going to be that big of a deal in this game. Mainly because what we want is just someone who has affinity with your driver. And to be fair, composure is a nice stat to have, just because, well, confidence loss is going to be smaller. Gain is going to be higher. But generally, I don't think we're going to be struggling too much with any race engineer, in my opinion. But if we have the extra money and he's available, we might nab him. We do only have 1 rare wing, though, for this race, so that could come back to bite us, but that will be okay. Rain for sprint quali. Then we have the sprint, then we have the race. Okay. We might need to speed up a... I forgot to set this up before the race. That's my bad. Okay. Apparently, I somehow skipped that. Car setup here. Let's get that checked. I'm still going to just sim it here because we are kind of running close to... Well, running out of time. If I'm to reach the... if I'm to get there in time for the quali. But we do have mid-session saves, so I don't know what I am stressing for. Can just save the game and come back. I did it later tonight, which I think is doubtful, but probably maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Also, for those of you interested in the AlphaTauri save that I'll be doing shortly, sometime soon, TM, I put a poll up for if we want to do it with Debris. Maybe that is going to be the Latifi challenge for this year. Make make Debris world champion, or do it with Rick. I did put up that poll on my YouTube page, so if you're interested in that, you can have a look. Now, he did actually break the engine quite a bit too. That is... Ugh. If we need to buy a new engine for Piastri, I'm going to be mightily upset. To be fair though, I did say that I accept the risk that I took before I started the race. I kind of dug that hole for myself, so I can't even be upset. I had 40 Fs Austria, you might get lucky. Yeah. Pick the youngest driver, make him champion. Could work too. Let's see, we're using damage parts. The setups are in order. Yep, looks like we're ready to simulate the session and jump straight into quali. So Hamilton is already taking a penalty. I think that is a penalty for parts. We're still about a couple of seconds off, well, just a second, honestly, off Verstappen. But at least we got decent driver prep on Norris here, so that is a bonus. Danny Rick.
And the race weekend continues.
Are you praying for good old Danny? I was also considering making an extra option on the poll, like pick up Danny after Hungary, if the Prix doesn't score more points than Tsunoda. Like make it actually point dependent. What is this supposed to be here? Just so I don't completely shaft him now, because after we do quali, we can't actually do anything other than the front wing. So if I shaft him in any direction, it's gonna come back and bite me later on. Honestly, I think it's okay. Still over 90%. I should be happy with that. We're going to use the 66 engine again. These are Merc engines. They should work until they are, well, 65% is when they start losing power. So they're still running at maximum capacity, even if they are slow to begin with. That should be okay. Guess you won't experience it because you're McLaren, but I read that they have programmed that for being a major upgrade for Silverstone, like in real life. She's someone else. As I said, I did a test run with a different team. I didn't see any like huge gains for McLaren at any point in the game, so it would be funny if that is a random event, though. Joshua, what is the strat for developing in this game? I know last year was crank everything up to the max. But is this year actually sacrificing part of the development to increase other parts? Honestly, the way that I look at it, Joshua, is that you want to sacrifice the durability. Just go for minimum durability for every part, because the performance gain by doing so is massive. And then you just want to kind of do things balanced for most parts. The only real, you know, exception in that would be the rear wing. I'd focus the drag reduction and DRS efficiency on that thing. But other than that, I would just go quality over quantity. Make sure that whenever I do a design, it is whichever design will give you most stats, because time-wise, they're all very close right now. And I do every design on intense. Mainly because they've really increased the prices of everything. It's more costly to make designs, so doing them intense is going to cost you 4 or 5 million when you do them. But if you consider that if you're going to make 3 designs and make $1 million worth of part for all 3 of those designs, it's better to just do an intense one. You'll probably end up saving money in the long run, funnily enough. So you don't necessarily need to sacrifice an attribute, but certain attributes you might want to get a little bit higher, and that's when you go for sacrificing some of the other ones. When you choose McLaren as your starting team and then finally staff and hire Ferrari staff. I haven't actually hired any Ferrari staff yet, so we'll see if I actually do. I'm more curious about what their stats actually are and their contracts mainly, so might pick up at least the one that's a 15-point upgrade, but I don't know if I'm gonna nab anyone else. They was the best rated for some reason, yeah. I think we're ready for qualifying. I'm just going to double check there because I did blabber a lot in the middle of setting this up. We are getting rain, so we want to get our run done ASAP. Rain is coming really quick. That is quicker than Verstappen's run, in practice at least, but yikes, that's dangerous. The rain should save us here though, but we are very, very close to that cutoff.
Light rain on the radar.
Copy.
Deny the race engineers though? That's stupid. You didn't want to risk it? Couldn't risk a Ferrari race engineer in your team? But yeah, I'll be sitting down in the future making probably some guides on development, Joshua, among other things, so they should be up in the coming week, basically. And I'll be testing a few different strategies for that. No chances taken. You get hit with the Ferrari, then everything goes to... well... everything ends up going badly. Okay, so rain kind of just helps us through Q1 here, but we were... it looked like he was riding the wrong way down the pit lane. Unless I am mistaken. That would be a paddling. We're just going to go on immediately fresh compounds here. Although, I guess, interestingly enough, it says that the scrubs here are going to have a quicker lap time, which I kind of could probably guess to be correct, judging by what I've seen. And last season after turn 2 they were going to plan F. I enjoyed when they were going to go plan F and then Alonso just showed up and said no. So we're going to try and send our cars out last here. If I send up Norris now, where's he going to pop out? Behind the Verstappen, that is okay. Yes, we're going to be a little bit in the way here for Russell, which is okay. So we're not completely in the back, but at the same time, rain is fast approaching, so we kind of don't want to be. Although we have plenty of time to get the run done. So Norris had a pretty decent run by the looks of things. Piastri did not, so Norris is just barely safe here. But unfortunately, Piastri is... they just didn't give him all his stats. But with the rain, there's not really any reason said about it either. Sorry about that, was yawning mid-sentence. The Max is probably going to be out of, yeah. Albon, though, just showing what he can do at Austria. Unless they pull some magic out with the amount of rain here, we should be okay. Bit of a shame for Piastri, but again, it is what it is. Okay, let's put him on probably just fresh ones here. Game estimates this to be quicker, but even then I think fresh ones are probably the better one. And I think we're gonna have rain again, so it's starting with rain. Okay. That's interesting. This means that we're probably just gonna get one proper run. This is gonna be a bit worrisome. This might be one of those times where you might want to take control of the AI so that they actually warm up the tires properly. And this is actually extending. It's getting more wet. Well, let's get started. We'll just put him on inters a minute before he needs to go out. But yeah, the water level is just draining. Whoever built this track really, you know, built it to drain water. Okay. See here now if we can extend the car out in a window that would benefit us. I think we send Norris out now. We are going to have to deal with Alonso at one point, but that should still be okay. Could probably stretch it a little bit longer before we send him out. Yeah, send him out a tad too quick there. Should get Perez before the corner. Hopefully, they don't lose too much time.
Okay, that is the checkered flag.
And P3. I think we accept that. That's probably our best result yet. I think I can feel a bit of a fume coming from the Verstappen here. Yeah, this works out. This worked out great for us. So now we have second practice, which means that we need to switch to bad car parts again. And this is going to be one of the things that... This is a quality of life upgrade that I wanted, that they would just allow you to have a practice setup that you can just swap to at the click of a button. Because this is the best way to play the game. The AI still won't change components properly, which is sad, but again, there's no reason why you would use one component during a you know, you wouldn't use your one components during practice rather than the race. I guess for the mechanic's sake, you probably wouldn't want to switch around a lot, but and also from the driver's perspective because you know, consistency. But this is a game, and we take advantage of every gaming mechanic we can find. So softset are going to be just barely reaching there. Okay, let's check what we can do here now in terms of tires. Compound performance. The softs are 2/10 quicker than the mediums. It'll take 10 laps for them to become slower. Same with the mediums to the hards. How many laps do we actually have here for this sprint? That is the full race. Yeah, these are not the tire strategies for the sprint. That's for sure. Okay, 24 laps. So if we can make the softs last, they're going to be quicker, but they're probably going to fall off. So I think mediums is going to be the best choice here for the sprint and what we're going to do. We are going to also have to buy a new ERS for Piastri at some point, which honestly we might just do now. He is starting pretty far down. Give him an opportunity to kind of fight his way back up. It's either that or we wait a race or two. But right now he is in pretty far back, starting 13th. Points is 8, so he still does have an opportunity, but I think we are just gonna... We're just gonna eat that penalty here. It is just for the best to get that out of the way. And that is the penalty we are gonna have to take because we just won't have enough energy storages to last the end of the season. So I think that is okay. There we go. Let's head into the sprint with a bit of a penalty. Norris starts third.
We're ready for
Let's see if we can actually stay with these
here in Austria. We're all ready to go.
higher rated teams.
And it's lights out and away we go.
Okay, let's just put on the ERS balances. I've seen a lot of people saying that this doesn't work, but it might not, honestly. Need to probably test that out a bit too. Piastri is 15th, so either he didn't eat any penalties or he did have a good start and I didn't pay attention. Norris for sure had a good start. He's already up to... Okay. Stroll on Alpine Islands. Good for Piastri. Norris is already...
We've got a yellow flag here.
Norris is up in second, so already a good start to this race. Well, sprint. They did just tapped each other on the track. Ocon with the penalty. Tune down the tires a little bit here before we start completely burning them. Same with ERS before I run out. I do have a very bad habit of running out of ERS. And Stroll even had a pit stop issue. Poor man. F2 quality is so wet right now. At least Bema managed to get pole. It's just so wet that the F1 crew are going to be afraid of running. Main selling point is 23 season. Before launch overhaul and tech regs, all the drivers and cars were close to equal, rather than a jump from the 8 I teams. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Red Bull has an insane performance at the start of the season. Like, it's going to be really hard to catch up with them. Norris right now is going to, I think, struggle to stay where he is. He is a bit slower than the cars around him. So we're probably going to start falling a little bit down the grid here, which is going to hurt his confidence. But I don't think we have any real choice in what we do here. That's the thing. Piastri is up in 13th, but he does have a gap now to the car in front of 2 seconds. Sargent actually overtakes him with the RS, so I guess it'll be a little bit back and forth there. Norris is down to 5th, which again is not surprising. Verstappen has already made his way up into the top 5, well, top 4. So he just decided to shoot train right through. And running aggressive here, these tyres will probably last the end. Piastri's might not, but Norris will for sure. So we'll have to see if we have to tune him down as we're close to the end of the race. I actually forgot to check, but everyone is on medium, so we're all running the same tyre here. They're leaving the cars in the pit lane and it's pouring. Using the cars as buckets, I see. If it wasn't for the stream probably dying, I would jump on F1 TV to have a look. But I guess I'll do it after the race. So Norris is falling back. It's just the, expected life. It's just what we expected at this point. Let's be honest. The Ferraris, the Red Bulls, they're not really cars we can keep up with yet. No matter how good Norris is. And Russell has picked himself up a penalty.
I'm not quite sure what's happened there.
Did Russell just sabotage Albon? I don't know if I'm a fan of the confetti that is just pouring everywhere whenever someone touches someone else. Because that's what I'm feeling like. Someone touches tires, it's just confetti spraying this game. I might need to tweak my settings though. I had some advice yesterday on how to make it a little bit better. But it looks like both Russell and Albon are okay. No, Russell is not okay. His tires are gone. Albon should still be fine, technically, so he won't pit. But Russell should be getting into the pits here. Like, these tires are broken. And Norris, as long as he runs where he is, we should be happy for him. Piastri's two cars of points there, so, well, more than that now. He was close to the points just a second ago. So I think we'll try and fight for that 10th place, get him a better starting position for the race itself. I heard another whack. Luckily, it doesn't seem to be our cars. Did Ocon take out someone else again?
Now this was at turn 1. Dangerously close to each other.
Ocon is avenging me after
That's quite an
the
impact between them, and that one.
after the Haas is causing me problem last race. Yeah, that won't really change anything for us.
In the wall. There's lots of debris where the incident was.
The virtual safety car will kind of allow us to cool the tires a bit.
Everyone is okay.
And potentially with Piastri get ready for an attack, because there is going to be very few laps again left once the virtual safety car reaches its end. So with that in mind, I think we are going to be pushing. Speed things up a little bit.
BSC ending.
BSC is ending, so 3 laps to go. Could we push for 3 laps? Maybe not, but 2 laps should be doable. So what I'm thinking is that once we cross the finish line, we're just going to give Piastri all his energy, all his tire, And we'll wish him a good luck. Now, what I'm not liking is Alonso is creeping up on Norris here. And that is worrisome because, well, Alonso is Alonso and he immediately just overtakes us. So we kind of need to push everything now just to keep up.
Press, overtake.
Yeah, confirm.
And if we re-overtake him in this area, we might just be able to make something happen here. We have DRS, so we should be good. Multiple cars have crashed again. And we're up into third. It's Sainz and Perez. Well, we are having a good race right now, thanks to, you know, Magnussen scaring Perez into taking out Sainz.
Sainz is clearly out.
Sainz is clearly out. I love these radios. They're actually kind of savage.
Max Verstappen over the finish line.
Verstappen wins,
and
Lando
today's
gets
winner.
third. Piastri just outside the points though, unfortunately, because this is the sprint race. But this is a
So we are box to swap.
very good potential starting point for the race itself.
Let's keep it
We'll
up.
take that.
And for Lando Norris,
Sainz has had many
he's raced into the
incidents,
points
yeah.
In today's
The thing is, the sponsorship things is still in the game, where they will just lower control for a driver. And I still don't understand why. I feel like that's their way of adding randomness, and it just isn't working properly. So I assume Sainz has been cursed with, well, that.
race day has arrived.
Haven't missed too much, Linke. We just did the sprint race, got a podium for Lando. He actually qualified third, so somehow managed to get where he was supposed to be, but he was lucky in doing so. Piastri qualified 13th. We took a penalty with him, so very happy for him too. He's actually starting 8th, so that is a bit surprising. And again, in terms of compounds here, 10 laps better for soft to medium. Medium is 10 laps too hard. So we'll have to see it. It is a long pit lane. Unless it's a safety car, I think a one-stop is what we want to kind of try and do. Or maybe not. Two-stop is potentially quicker. But we'll have to see if we switch that over to double medium instead of a double soft. We'll have some flexibility there. And I think we'll do the same for Lando, because he too has flexibility in what he can choose. If you want to go on longer stints, going on the hards could be viable, but I think the two-stop air could be fun. I skipped the cinematic Ninja because I have seen every permutation of that. To be fair, they have added new ones, so I should have a look at them. But mainly I'm skipping it so I can try and get the race done before quali. Unless, of course, quali gets cancelled because of rain. Got about 20 minutes to go. So it's just me stressing out a little bit, but don't worry. It is okay. If we get a podium, though, I will not skip the next cinematic. McLaren get a podium in Spa would be amazing if they did. And potentially, yeah, we could get double points, Steven. We'll do our best to see what we can do. I think we have the strategy set up here, honestly. Two-stopper does come with its own risks, but we are currently the quickest team in terms of pit stops, so at least we'll have that with us. And if we're lucky, yeah, we might even get some safety cars around the, you know, virtual safety cars
Here among the
around the
Austrians,
times that we want to pit.
the crowd are ready, the cars are ready. It's the Austrian Grand Prix.
So we have a Verstappen, he's just going to fly up into the sunset for sure.
And it's lights out.
Is that Albon?
And away we go.
Sargent and Albon. This is a weird top 10. And immediately we are just fighting Leclerc. So there are some medium runners. Stroll here has opted to go on the hard tyre. He's going to not have a good day. But a lot of soft runners here up front. Yeah, they have added some like new podium animations now that you mentioned it. So that is why I got reminded of it. Soft medium is better. Could very well be, honestly. We'll probably make it better to just get through the traffic, yeah? not disagreeing with that. We might switch it around too. I'm not too set into absolutely doing this permutation of strategy. We can switch it around if we feel the need. We are going to put Norris' aggression here on high, because he does have currently quite good confidence. It might get a bit lower once he gets overtaken by a couple more cars. Because let's face it, we just aren't quick enough to follow Red Bulls, Ferraris, even Astons right now. So our fight is probably going to be with Magnussen and Gasly. But we could have a couple of, incidents again. Leclerc, Verstappen, they like to run close to each other. Would not surprise me if they suddenly decide to whack each other. So as long as we stay with not with Lando, with Nando, we should be okay. But now we're going to burn a little bit extra fuel here. I still don't know if the fuel weight actually has an effect on your car's really speed here, or if it's just like a degradation through the laps, if that makes sense. But I'll be testing fuel weights later on as well, I think. Because with the durability and extra weight added there, we should see some changes. And if the fuel added through the fuel tank has as much of an effect in terms of weight as, removing it from the other components for performance, then we could have a bit of an interesting one. I think we've pushed enough fuel here. We're going to tune it down a little bit. It has, at least practice tests with full fuel load. Yeah, that's what I would expect. I would expect it to be more pronounced in this game, because we... What happened?
That's not looking good for Charles Leclerc.
Charles, what have you done, Charles? Okay, so you ran Verstappen off the road, and then Verstappen ran you... That kind of looks like Perez and Verstappen squabble. I'm amazed by the fact that I developed cars. Honestly, the car isn't really developed yet. The other teams will easily catch up. It's kind of cheesing it by using minimum weight parts. Piastri is falling back a bit there, but again, that's not too surprising. We'll just make the best out of it. Verstappen does pit because he did actually pick up damage. Leclerc did not, so podium potentially. 20 min, what should I spend it on? Probably I would save it, because if you have 4 sets of parts in development, it's going to cost you 5, 6, 7, 8 million to just, manufacture them, and then you might want to start new projects. So you have to make the decision if you want to invest into your facilities, say extra experience for your drivers, extra experience for your staff. That could be good for you. Let's see. Leclerc is running 8.9s versus Alonso's 8.1s, but that is with DRS. So if he has underflow damage, it's very light. It's not really showing up for him. Like Gasly and Magnussen are running the same lap times. He might have a tad bit here, but as you can see, yeah, they're still running about the same. So yeah, you'll just have to try and make a decision there, what you value. Honestly, I'd probably focus into the staff buildings for experience. But it's up to you what you want to invest in. Could always invest into the Science Center, the other buildings. They give now extra stats as well, so you're gonna have to invest in them at some point. But honestly, for season 1, I just focus on the car mainly. Debris and show has crashed.
There's been a crash.
Leclerc got damage. Yeah, I think you have a chance of a win. Potentially, well, not really a win. I think that's going to be a bit difficult. We're going to need a bit more help with that. So, one of the Hulkenberg there got assassinated. For Leclerc, he didn't actually even take tire damage, so he's starting to get slow. So you might be very correct in the fact that he has some sort of damage. But we'll have to see how pronounced that becomes as we go. I don't actually remember if Oscar's been in the points yet. I think maybe. You're actually asking a difficult question because I don't remember. Stroller is also doing good work. He's actually making those hards work for him. We're still good on our tires. Piastri might need a little bit of a, quicker upper there. He is falling backwards. Nothing much we can do about that. Norris is maintaining that 3-second gap to Leclerc. So we'll have to see what we do here. We might just switch this around that we go onto the softs again. Try and get a little bit of a fight going there. But for now it is looking promising. We're still fighting Alonso, so the main concern that I have is that either we will kill Alonso or Alonso will kill us. That's the main thing that could, cause problems with the Dream right now. The other problem that could cause, the other thing that could cause problem is if they try to undercut us, like Magnussen is doing right now. So what I'm thinking is that we might just need to do a little bit of a silly one where we go onto the softs right now, depending on where Magnussen comes out. Could probably get Piastri in now too, with that in mind. So let's see now, where did Magnussen come out? He comes out into free air, somewhat. We did have a little bit of a gap to him, so with that in mind, we should come out ahead of that, where Piastri is right now. So, could push for one more lap, honestly. But we are going to have to be pitting very, very soon. So, we'll stretch it one more lap. Magnussen shouldn't be too much of a problem. Not actually Alonso pitting, that's going to be a problem for us. But we are going to get Piastri in right now. We're going to switch him around into the soft, medium strat. And we are going to have to get Norris in now as well. And hopefully we can make something happen here. So Alonso went onto the hards. He might stay on those to the end of the race then. We had the quickest pit stop. Piastri is now down into 18th, which isn't that much of a surprise. Let's see when Norris actually comes out here. Because Alonso is coming around the corner now. We should come out ahead of him. Just about. So that is very good. Now, we don't really actually want to pull him along because he's on hard tires. We kind of need to make a gap now to him. As quickly as we can. So we might need to push these softs there a little bit in the beginning. And of course, that's going to be a net negative for us. He actually overtook us with DRS. So yeah, this could be a bit problematic. We'll have to see how we deal with this. Currently, though, we are running close to Ocon and Perez. So hopefully we can actually get by them and have them, keep Alonso. Although he did send it on the inside there. For now, though, just switch to deploy. Go a little bit aggressive on the tires. They're not overheating yet, so we do have a little bit to go on. And hopefully now we can just, power our way through like Alonso already has done. The man's a machine. This is kind of what I expected from Alonso early in the season. But right now he's just showing us how it's done on hard tires. Norris does set fastest lap though, so if we can keep that would be good. And we might actually have to, as I said, go into hards towards the end there, but Alonso is pushing those hards faster than we can push the softs. That's actually insane. He might have gotten points in Monaco. It's just my memory is bad. So I really don't remember when Norris got points either, so I have a case of bad memory. So we are currently leaving Alonso slightly behind. We're going to have to leave him more behind if we want to, have a chance of winning this, because if we just pull him along, he's just going to get biased in the future. So, well, now Norris is just going to have to do his thing. We did get DRS there, though, thanks to Russell who pitted. We just fly right by Verstappen. Pulling Verstappen with us isn't the worst thing in the world. He's on the mediums. He is going to be pitting. Leclerc has already pitted. But we'll have to see now what we do in terms of keeping these tires alive. Verstappen, though, is kind of holding us up right now. Piastri is up into 14th. He's going to have a little bit of a DRS strength to contend with, but I think he'll be fine. I think we're going to have to put him on the hards, most likely, to make him last to the end. This is Austria. So race 11. Wait a minute. 10. It's race 10 in this game. Yeah, Norris is doing well up front, but again, we're going to be doing a double stopper, so we'll have to see if we can actually, you know, benefit. Right now, we are pulling Verstappen along with us, which is not really super good. So hopefully the reset could be helpful in being a bit of a roadblock. That would be nice. Could also tune down the usage of the tires a little bit here, and just as I do that, Verstappen chooses to pit. Let's see what it actually comes out with here. Comes out with hard, so he's definitely going to be on those to the end. Alonso might just pit again with those hard tires of his. So as long as we run these absolute into the ground, we can see if we have a chance of getting the medium tires on. Piastri, again, it's just unfortunate, but he is just a tad slow. Debris with a bit of a lockup. Luckily not our concern. Norris now running a good 5 seconds ahead of Alonso. Slightly quicker, slightly slower than Leclerc. No, he didn't. We were squeezing his strategy in Monaco, putting himself and didn't get into top 10. Yeah, it was just outside, wasn't he? Now that you mention it. I seem to remember this. The tragedy. I'm gonna need one of the back markers here to take out Leclerc if we want to have any chance, because now also Alonso started catching us. Piastri does now have someone who can keep on trying to pull him along, but as you can see here,
How's the tyre doing?
his tires have kind of given up now.
The tyres are done.
Copy.
Yeah, I think so too. So we could put him onto the medium tires, but they won't really last to the end. Putting him on the hard will give him opportunity to, you know, go aggressive, go light, go what we need him to. So we're gonna have to put him on the hard, which is not great at all. But it's either that or we, you know, burn them below the 30% mark, which is gonna slow him down massively as well. So I think hards is just gonna be what we have to live with here. And it's this tires that have taken damage, not something else. Okay, good. Magnussen does now pit as well. He has a very long pit stop. I think he had a pit error. Yeah, he did. Piastri will now have a lot of free air, though, to, you know, move in. But this does also cause potential problems for Norris in terms of having him go onto the mediums. We can probably make that work, but we're going to have to, you know, push it as long as possible. I think we're going to be putting Lando in the mediums anyways, just to try and give him a fighting chance here. Stroll pits, Gasly pits. The gaps are more than good enough for us to just wait there. Like, Alonso is going to be the only, like, threat we need to concern ourselves with in terms of pitting. Verstappen is not going to be pitting at all here, so he's going to go by us for sure. And we are going to be pitting Lando this lap. Push, get in, and as you can see, Alonso's almost caught us. So, did I put Lando on the mediums, or did I put him on something else? Russell and Perez is going to get us as well. That's just how it be. Did get a quick pit stop though, just under 2.1 seconds. We did put him on the mediums, good. Let's get those heated up and get into the fight. Oh, come on.
Guy turning into me. Makes sense.
And Lando, are you okay? Are you okay?
I think everything's fine.
Now I'm finding out what's happened here, and it looks to be the McLaren that's involved. Let's take a closer look. Let's have a look.
Manual
at
calling might
turn
be faster,
6.
yeah.
Tries to get by.
So we had a back marker, I believe. Take us out. Was it Hulkenberg? He has a penalty now. Yep. It was Hulkenberg. Now, if we want to have any chance here of getting anything with Norris, we're just going to have to stay out. Tyres didn't take any notable damage, but we have a slight damage to the front wing. Haas really hates McLaren. It's Edison doing his magic over there. But yeah. That is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. We did lose some tyre wear too, I think just slight amounts. But again, nothing we can do much about. That did cost us a ton of time, unfortunately. Can I keep these tyres live if I run them aggressively? Let's see what they estimate if I run them aggressively. We're going to have to run them normally just to be safe. But I know that as long as I keep them within temperature, Norris should be okay. And we're kind of going to have to do this if we want to try and get points here, because damage is damage and it's going to slow us down. Now luckily 2 of the cars in front of us, well 3 if you count Russell, are on older hards, so we'll be catching them. Leclerc does now pit too. And Stroll does actually get us, so with equal tyres, we do lose out. So that front wing damage might be a bit more than just minor. We'll see. We are fighting back though. I'll be doing some manual versus auto tests. The reason why auto was a lot quicker last year was because the AI was incredibly predictable. So you could just click the button and usually be very safe. It's a bit different this time around. Quality with a 10-minute delay, very nice. Then I'll have time to finish this. I actually lost track of the clock there for a second, but I am glad you reminded me. So yeah, it's going to be a bit lower, so we might need to just run a bit standard for a while. But we are running 6 right now. Unfortunately, Alonso is going to be safely pitting here without, you know, us being able to interfere in any way, shape, or form. And as you can see, we almost caught up with Alonso too, so you can imagine that we'd be way ahead of him if we didn't have any damage. He, however, has gone onto the soft tire, so he'll be a lot quicker. And Perez is actually staying out on very used mediums, so we'll be getting him as well. The question is, can we remain ahead of him for the last, 17 laps here after he does pit? Piastri, again, just doing his own little thing here. Can't really help him one way or another, unfortunately. Have him running as good as, as efficiently as he can right now. Ocon does pit. Perez is still staying out, so he's really burning those tires. Russell should also be catchable, I think, with a little bit of help from Stroll here. So podium might not be on the cards anymore, unless of course Verstappen somehow catches up to and takes out Leclerc. But a good point scoring position is still very much on the docket here. I only have 50 million cost cap left with 7 races because so much driver crashes. Yeah, honestly, the thing is they actually have this menu that you can tell them to play it a bit more safe. So if you have a driver that crashes a lot, just to save you money, might be a good idea to just put it low and rarely defend. You'll get overtaken, you won't have really good race results, but at least your wallet won't be, you know, sending you threatening emails in the morning. Perez finally pits. We're still with Russell and Stroll. We're kind of struggling to keep up though. So this could be difficult to stay with to the end of the race. Piastri's still running his own little pocket there. Not much we can do for him. Could maybe have done a a soft to soft run. That might have been better. But as I said, right now, not much we can do for him. Norris does seem to be quick enough that we might be able to threaten Stroll if we can get back within DRS. But again, that's going to cost tire wear, and that is the one thing that we don't have to spare right now. So we'll keep things going a little bit longer. Stroll is the only one we really can get here. The rest are kind of out of bounds, I dare say. Did get the RS there. We caught up a bit. And we're going to overtake here, and then we're going to get probably re-overtaken on the next straight here. 3 laps to go. I say we just have to figure out when we overtake for the final time. We only have 36% left on these tires, so when we do overtake, we're going to have to end it immediately. Leclerc is about to start his final lap. We have about 1.5 laps to go. So Norris did get the kind of overtake done there, but if we stay behind right here, I think that we turn aggressive, push fuel, we just give full deploy, and we just try everything that we have now to get this done. Maybe should have waited for that next straight there, but we did the move. We're just gonna have to live with our decision now. Last few corners, it's going to be running on, you know, 1 tires.
Hold on, buddy. That was a tough race.
But we did eke out a gap there, so I guess Stroll didn't have anything left in the tank. I say that is a good result. It could have been better, of course, if Hulkenberg didn't, you know, bump us. But let's face it, we're 18 seconds behind Alonso. Even if we didn't get bumped, I don't think we would have kept up with him, probably. Maybe we could have, but again, we won't be able to, you know, figure that out. But 4th place is very respectable right now, I dare say. Again, Piastri, we're gonna have to work a little bit on him, but if we can get him higher up, things are gonna be good. And Alonso moves up to 4th, Norris moves up to 8th with that. Good amount of points for us. With that now, we're just 5 points behind Alpine. We still have a bunch to go up to Mercedes though, so we do need to develop a car a bit more. Hello, William. We got a... Did we get a podium? I'm actually so woozy today. I thought we'd have got a podium in the sprint, if that counts. I haven't gotten a race podium. We are winning the currently DHL Fastest Pit Stop Award though, which is, again, just extra money. So I'm happy about that. Let me check once we get out of here, because I think, yeah, sprint, we finished 3rd. If you count a sprint podium as a podium. I think our shuttle scouting is done. Can I have a look at that before I'm going to have to run? Bit of a shorter stream today. Going to be trying to see if Spa actually does a quali. But as you can see there, our reserve did level up. Let's have a quick look here at drivers. That is the wrong one. And scouting data. There we go. So, lacking a bit in reactions and cornering, but pretty good averages otherwise. Good control. Better adaptability, but as I said, lacking cornering and reactions. I do. Podium is a podium. Piastri has gained 2 points. Yeah, Piastri is leveling up pretty rapidly. Might need to put him on a bit of a smoothness cure later on, but for now we're going to focus on trying to get his pace stance up a bit. Come on, hire him. Not yet. We do have a contract with Piastri, so we'll have to wait for that contract to end, because right now the money is quite a lot more valuable to me than picking up a new reserve. June in Formula 1, engineers have creating paths, won't be finishing championship at the bottom of the grid. AlphaTauri, are they bottom of the grid? Well, they're close to it, they have 0 points still. Driver development update, Piastri gained 2 points in accuracy, and Norris gained a point in adaptability. Palu leveled up with his point in smoothness, so that is good. Board has high confidence in us, which is good. And current car report here shows that we have fallen pretty far down, but I think this is mainly due to cars missing parts, like we're missing a front wing here. And it doesn't take this into consideration when it gives you that stat build. So if we go car analysis and have a look, we're around there, but slightly higher, I think. But yeah, the other teams have definitely caught up to us, so our car isn't that super developed. Let's see, we do have some concerns for the suspension system. Okay, so we can shut it down for 100 days. Sorry, not 100 days, 10 days for 100k. Or we can deny it for a chance of problem worsening. I think it's just easy to approve this. Basically, there's a structural potential issue. So we'll just accept that. Behrman 1 for the F2 race. Mini 1 for the F3. Edgar and Saucy. Ivasa and Westy. And we did have a party that failed inspection, so we're probably going to have to go to the warehouse. And I'm just going to do this before I go. We are currently making those. Should make at least one more front wing. And side pods are probably going to have to be made as well. I know that we are working on suspension right now, so we're not going to put anything in there. But I will manufacture a side pod. And I will have a look at what we would like to develop next. And what I'm thinking is that we just might end up going back into the underfloor. The underfloor is a reliable one, for starters. And it is probably the best we would get in terms of upgrades. So car 2 is currently the best that we have on the grid. And it would get us some upgrades across the board. See here. So car 1 versus car 2. Car 1 using something that car 2 isn't. Let's just check quickly, yeah. Because that looked a bit wonky. Okay, so let's try and equalize the cars before we do this. Okay, car 2 has a way better rear wing by the looks of things, so we do need to make one of these immediately. We have the British Grand Prix in 4 days. Okay, that might explain a little bit why Piastri is slower. Let's go ahead there and check our manufacturing. Starting. Start is delayed again. Need to off-brand Verstappen. Any updates on quality? Another 10-minute delay. Starting now. I've messed up with delayed. Okay. How much do I have to pay to get off-brand Verstappen? I don't think you'll have to pay anything, but right now, honestly, we're just gonna allow the contracts to run their course, William, and then we'll see what we actually end up picking up. Palu, I think his contract runs out this year, so in 6 months' time. We'll have a look. What I wanted to do, though, before I go now, is just get the manufacturing fixed here. So we're going to cancel this. Can I cancel this? Okay, so I won't get my money back, so I just wasted 200,000. But that is okay, because what we really want to make is this rear wing. Because it will equalize the cars. What is Max breakout? I think he's calling Vershaw off-brand Verstappen. Yeah, I'm gonna quickly just have a look at what we want to make with the CFD before I go. So we got this set up for next time around. I'll just turn time back a little bit. Yeah, so front wing would not be the play here, I think. Car 2 gets more of a boost, which is interesting. I think the underfloor is going to be the play. Again. I don't think any other part here will be more of an upgrade. Side pods there won't really be an upgrade. I don't think the chassis is going to be an upgrade. Nope. It would be sacrificing, you know, engine cooling, which we kind of need if we want to keep our engines alive, where we don't have to buy a bajillion of them. Even rear wing here, I don't think will be... rear wing could potentially be worth it. But that'll be... We'll have to have a look at it compared to car 2, because car 2 has that new rear wing. So yeah, this is not going to be worth it. I think underfloor is just a no-brainer here. It is going to be what gives us the most performance, and it's also going to be all-around performance. So we're just going to put all of the CFD, MFD into the underfloor, and that should get it done. Yeah, this is going to be the best choice that we can make in terms of upgrades at this stage. Do I have anything I want to tune down to get something else tuned up? No, I think we'll just do a balanced one. So this is going to be our next project. We're going to do it on Intense, and we'll do it as quickly as we can. 29 days. Should be okay. We'll still have plenty of cash remaining. Well, there we go. That is unfortunately going to be the end of today's stream. I'll be running off to watch quali. Hope you all have a nice day. And potentially I might get started on the AlphaTauri tonight. We'll see. But you should be seeing it out sometime this weekend. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Thank you all. Bye bye.